Hello, we're here. How's my hair? How's my shirt? Everything looks good? Sounds good? I think we're good. Let me adjust this just a little bit because it's dipping slightly. Not bad. Okay. Welcome back to Sit Start Fridays. Saturdays with the Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Gamby is actually talking to me right now. Gamby is, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm assuming it involves his dog and probably a camera. Definitely a camera, most likely his dog, but I don't really know. So, we're recording Sit Start Saturdays, as we do every Saturday. And then we are doing, I should probably look up, okay, 1 o'clock's the earliest game. And no other games till 7, okay? So really the one that everybody's going to be most focused on is going to be this Vancouver-Buffalo game. So, after this, we will be recording the. Is anybody even here? Oh, yeah, people are here. Matt Albert? Hello? So, we'll be recording the week preview after this. It's actually a very nice day out. Let me see if I can turn the camera around without totally screwing everything up. Let's see. Not bad. Look at that sky. Look at that sky. What's going on with this sky? It's very, very soft blue going up there. All right. How badly did I screw up my setup here? It's pretty much back to where we were. Okay. Let me just lower this a little bit. Turn that up a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Good. Back to normal. Okay. I'm assuming you guys can hear me well enough. Start 2, Vasilevsky, Rask, or Varlamov. All right, jump over here. So as far as starts, I use Money Puck as not necessarily like an idea of what I'm definitely going to do, but like to kind of break ties and see if there's anything I'm really missing from the general narrative of teams that are likely to win. So Vasilevsky, Rask, and Varlamov. Varlamov, to me, just sounds like not the right one to play. You never want to play against Boston. So I'd probably be benching Varlamov. Who's Tampa playing? Tampa's playing Philly. Yeah, so I'd be playing Rask and Vasilevsky, I think. It's probably the safest bet. What's been hurting your head for a few days? What have I done? Wait, where are you? Where is NEPA? Okay. Bring the questions. Since it's just me, there's obviously less discussion because I got nobody to discuss it with on camera. So that means I'll be able to answer the questions fairly quickly. But I'll try to give you as much insight as I can, especially when there's not a ton of people. Dude, I know that the camera looks fine, but it's bothering me that it just seems not quite perfect. All right. Points only league that is strictly goals and assists got offered Matthews and Eichel for McKinnon and Scheifele. What do you guys think? Center for center. Matthews shooting percentage, unless he is a volume shooter that's also extremely accurate, which is, hasn't happened in a long, long time. I think his goal production is going to go down a little bit. Eichel and Matthews are both playing kind of similarly. I think they're both a little over-indexed, and I think McKinnon and Scheifele are right on. Scheifele's been shooting 20% for 4 straight seasons now. He has no empty net goals this season. I actually looked him up for the week preview. That's why I know this kind of offhand. I would keep McKinnon and Scheifele for a points-only league. Not a huge difference, but I think McKinnon is the big winner here, and I think Scheifele is going to be able to keep up, basically. Should I drop Iafallo for McCann going into Sunday and stream 3 Pittsburgh players with Hornquist, Malkin, and McCann? I don't hate it. With Cahoon, I don't know about well, with you have Pims and hits and all that, so McCann probably makes sense. I do like. I feel like I might like Cahoon better than McCann, but yeah, I don't mind dropping Iafallo for McCann is fine because McCann is still your streamer spot. Who do you prefer rest of the season in a Bangers Cats League? Voracek or Dadonov? I already have Huberdeau. Voracek hasn't been shooting like at all, which worries me a bit. If I had to choose, I'd choose Dadonov, but there's not a huge difference between the two. Is Hall and Tavares too much for Matthews? Probably not anymore. Matthews is going to be just enough better than Tavares, especially with shot production, that it probably makes sense. And Hall, I still think he's like a 65, 70 guy, so he's not like a total loss, but he can't be the same player he was. About an hour from Binghamton. Huh. Okay. Duclair. Yeah, I mean, Duclair, I'm not going to overreact to Duclair. He's coming off of an ankle injury. But yeah, looking at Duclair real quick. This is not cool, right? Not good. Not good. Not good. But I want to extend the leash a little bit with him. It sucks that he wasn't able to get anything going against Detroit of all teams, but I'm gonna give him a little bit longer before I really turn the panic button on. He's got another game tonight. I don't know. Maybe get rid of him here in the bye week area. Or no, this is the All-Star game, isn't it? I don't know. We'll see. That does suck though, I will admit. Hour and a half north of Philly. It's normally like 20, but it's below freezing in January here. Yeah, New York has been weird. I mean, it's 60 here, I think, today in New York City. Cahoon a long-term ad? I don't think so. I don't know what's going to happen to that winger spot when Crosby comes back, but I do think that Cahoon's, I don't think his ice time is going to stay as high as it was. And if he's not going to be power play 1, he takes a pretty big hit for a long-term ad. But, I mean, I'd hold him until he starts dipping in ice time, if, your league is that deep. Alex Killorn or Ryan Strome in Bangers. Strome at this point. Killorn's whole value now is going to be from that top power play, which is fine, but he doesn't have the line anymore. They reunited Stamkos, Point, and Kucherov, so that's just bad news for Killorn, unfortunately. Chances Dylan Strome plays tonight? I honestly don't know. I haven't heard a lot about him. I don't think so. If you have 2 leagues going, a Bangers and a Points one, of which half the players are involved in both and want to take plus minus out next year, would you switch it for IPP? Can you? I wouldn't. Although that is an interesting stat. You must be on Fantrax or something for it to be that. Half the players are involved in both. They want to take plus minus out should just be taken out regardless, even if you don't replace it. I don't know that I would replace it with IPP because it's kind of a nebulous thing. I get that it does sort of point out skilled players, but it's a weird one. I don't know that I'd use it as a fantasy stat to track for a league. Usually when I take out plus minus, I just replace it with another cumulative stat. That's kind of our argument with PIMS. I get that a lot of people don't like penalty minutes because it's not a positive stat or whatever, but it's a consistent one that can be tracked. And typically a PIM getter is always a PIM getter. Evander Kane's going to get a ton of penalty minutes. It's just part of the thing, and that's why we push for stats like that, where it's not necessarily about is what the player is doing the best thing for the team. It's about are they being who you expected them to be? Are you able to accurately predict and and gather a team that will fill all your stat categories, regardless if they're actually good news in real life. Okay, would you keep Hronik or Vatanen rest of the season? Also, would you keep Radulov or Lindholm? You know, Hronik and Vatanen is like probably the best comparison because they're so similar. If you have, man, there's really no. I think I would take Hronik, but I don't. Just because I do think that Detroit has the better offense, even if they haven't shown it lately or at all. With Mantha back, I think they're going to get a little bit of a bump on that power play one. Hronik is there for long term. I think Hronik's going to be playing more minutes for a long time, and Vatanen. I love Vatanen. I love both of them. But if I had to pick one, it'd be Hronik. But by the slimmest of margins, he also blocks more if you have blocks. Would you keep Radulov or Lindholm? Probably Radulov. I don't know how much I love Lindholm unless he's doing the same thing they were doing last season with the Gaudreau, Monahan, Lindholm thing. So, yeah. So, sorry, Mitchell. I totally disagreed with you, but I actually think they're very close. I think Radulov would definitely get a bump if there's PIMS. So there's that. I have a weekly lineup pool. I'm going against it's 12-1. Should I just YOLO this thing and start Crosby? So this is the points league, must be, or it's a 1 win. I wouldn't unless you don't think you're going to have starts. I think the key to winning most matchups is start count. So if the other team, yeah, they're a strong team clearly, but if they aren't outstarting you, like if you can stream in guys and wind up with 5 starts on them or something, you might be able to win even with a subpar team. Ask Gamby about this. This is how I've beaten him in playoffs the last 2 straight seasons. I just dropped a lot of fairly good players for guys that had good schedule, and I just beat him with starts. So I would see if you can't do that, if it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to outstart him, you could take a shot. If you really think you're gonna drop, if you don't, then it's worth an opportunity. It does seem like there's a pretty good chance he's going to be playing soon. You might even know before you have to set your lineup. 16 team, 4 keeper, blah, 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 blah. Which 4 should I keep out of Tavares, Hall, Connor, Gensel, Quinn Hughes, Krug, and Trouba? Okay, Hall is falling out for me at this point. I would definitely keep Tavares. I would keep Gensel. Man, do you keep Hall? I don't think you keep Hall. I don't know if you keep Hughes either, but he's young enough that even if he's not he's kind of a below replacement level keeper, sort of. But if you don't have him, you're not going to be able to keep him for when he, eventually ascends past that. So I would probably keep Tavares, Gensel, Quinn Hughes. Connor's making an argument at this point. As crazy as that sounds, compared to Hall. But I think I would take Krug. I go Tavares, Gensel, Hughes, Krug. Although I really do like Connor, but I feel like again next season you're gonna be able to get him cheaper than a keeper pick. That's kind of what it boils down to. And I'm not that high on Hall, but you can figure this out later in the season. Hopefully, if Hall winds up figuring something out, he might work himself back into that conversation. Should I do Elliott Hartstack for goalie? Deep league and goalie is really important. I probably wouldn't. I just don't see a reason to handcuff. I'd rather just stream when you need to, or I would have some other backup that I think is stronger. And I don't think the Philly stream is the best one to go after anyway, or the Philly handcuff. I'd rather have a Francouz. I'd rather have a Samsonov. I'd rather have, I would say Ranta, but we know where that's led, don't we? If Elliott's the only option, it does give you that you're going to be getting all the games feeling, but if you're not at risk for not hitting your start minimums or something, I just don't think Elliott's that good. Is Marino worth a pickup? He's been good, but how sustainable? Temp replacement for being down Borietzky and Sherratt. I haven't looked at Marino lately, but I do know that he wasn't quite doing what he was at the beginning. Oh, yeah. Okay, he's back. He's back to point scoring. I never trust a defenseman that gets a ton of even strength points. It just never seems to happen for a long term. And the problem with Marino is you definitely can't replace a Borietzky. By the way, hi Rogerson. I love the cat YouTube member. He definitely can't replace Borietzky's or Chirot's banger stuff with Marino at this point. So I don't know. I think there's better options. I don't think these points keep up. I like Marino a lot, but I don't see how he can possibly keep this up if he's not willing to shoot. Who do you like better for a win, Markstrom or Smith? Is Smith playing? I don't like Smith ever. But so looking at Money Puck here, Money Puck would argue that Smith is the better, assuming he's playing. Let's see, is he? See if he's been announced yet. Okay, so Markstrom definitely is playing. Scroll. Mike Smith, unconfirmed. I don't know that he'll play. They didn't play last night, did they? I don't know. Mike Smith sucks. I think I'll just play Markstrom. Gallagher's status changed from day to day. I mean, you can blame the Canadians for that one. He clearly still has a concussion. I'm surprised he was able to come back. He comes back for a game, then he leaves with headaches. Like, why do you think he has headaches? Why? You think maybe because of the concussion that he probably still has? Like, he's not eligible for IR anymore because they activated him. So unless they think he's going to be out for at least a week, they're not going to put him back on IR. They're kind of screwed. That said, I would argue that any league should have at least 2 IR plus slots at this point. It's just this stuff happens too much. Vishal, hello. I actually have more people playing tomorrow than I do today. But just want to say hi and we appreciate you. Well, thank you. We wouldn't do this if it weren't for this great community. We love doing the podcast, but these live streams have also been like a nice little boost. It feels nice that we come here and we do these streams, and you guys are so willing to come hang out with us and maybe trust some questionable advice that we give. I have to drop Jake Allen to get Elliott. I'd rather have Allen. Allen's been playing better as a backup. He's going to get about the same amount of starts as Elliott, I'd think. Or I'd just stream the spot, honestly. Might just stream it. Any advice to do with get out of here, Gamby. Any advice to do with what to do with Heiskanen? He's been ice cold and not even playing power play with Klingout points league with shots and blocks. He's been shooting more this season, which is a nice change, if I remember right. But if he's going to lose power play 1 to Lindell, that's not good news. I don't see any reason to hold on to him long term. I do like the shot production. I do like that. If he does get power play 1, then you can make the argument that he's got some value there. And he does okay in the banger stats with hits and blocks. But I don't see any reason to hold him long term if he's not going to be playing top power play. He is? Wait, according to Daily Faceoff, but has he actually played there? I could have sworn that Lindell played there last game, unless they literally just changed it. I've been like, I don't know. Yeah. He's been kind of half and half. I guess you can hang on to him for now, because I do think there's a decent chance they'll put him power play 1, but. Let's see. How bad do you think Dell's going to get lit up today? Who are they playing? Should I be scared? Against Dallas? Like, Money Puck actually likes Dell for the win. I don't think he's going to be that bad. He might lose the game, but I think he's got as good a shot of winning. I actually kind of agree with Money Puck. I wouldn't necessarily give him the edge, but I think it'll be okay. I don't necessarily think his odds of getting lit up are like super high. Just miffed with variance IR status on IR. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, Yahoo, and understandably, honestly, they only will move somebody to IR if they're literally listed on IR on the team. That's why IR plus slots exist. So you have to use them. I get that, like, it's sort of annoying if somebody gets marked day to day before they're even out, and somebody throws them into the IR plus slot and adds somebody. But it's whatever. Do you still think Sergachev isn't a good hold? Probably, but I honestly haven't been looking into him too much. Yeah, I mean, he's another guy that's like, if you have blocks, then he gets some value, but he's, point every other game, 40-point guy. He's been getting a lot of power play points, which he shouldn't be getting. In fact, what's this? More than half of his last handful of points have been on the power play, which shouldn't be happening. So, yeah, I think he should have less points than he does right now. But in a blocks league, he has more value. In a standard Yahoo Cats league, I don't think he's worth holding. Instead of Marino, I'm considering Chris Tanev for blocks. Plays Saturday and Sunday. Is that too crazy? No. I used Tanev for blocks earlier this season to great effect. Pick 2. Monahan, Zibanejad, and Kopitar. Definitely Zibanejad. Monahan is playing. We just looked, just playing Edmonton. Who's LA playing? LA is playing Carolina. Has Monahan even been good lately? He's not playing on that top line anymore, right? He's still playing on line 2. But his shots have been good. Oh boy. It's tight between the two of them. No, he's playing with Gaudreau. Okay. Right, that's right. It's Lindholm that's been bumped down. I'd play Monahan, but I don't have real strong feeling about it. Work on the week preview video. Love that multi-camp monster badge. And head-to-head, Banger League, Ryan O'Reilly versus New York, Point at Philly, Stone versus Columbus, Patrick Kane versus Anaheim, Elias Lindholm versus Edmonton, leaning towards Lindholm. Bench 1. Stone, Point, Ryan O'Reilly. Yeah, I would bench Lindholm as well. Well, you're welcome, Devil Machine. Hi, Monster. Yeah, it is impossible to give we try. Chris, what's your opinion on Rantanen lately? I like him more than now that he's top line, top power play. He's been slow, but he has a history of being very good. So I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to overreact to recent stuff. Why haven't the Sharks put Couture on IR lately? One of my leagues only has 1 IR slot, and it's not IR plus, so I'm stuck with a dead bench slot. You know what? This is something I tried to answer fairly recently. I don't have the answers to this. I don't know, at this point in the season, why a team would delay when, they know that Couture is going to be out for as long as he is, to go ahead and put him on IR. Maybe it's a cap thing. Could be a cap thing. That they won't get any relief. So why do they care? But I don't know. You'd think he'll be on sooner or later, but I don't know. Lindell 51%, yeah, on last 3 games. Yeah, but I don't know. You look at Dallas's deployment on that power play, and it's hard to tell who he's even playing with just by looking at percentages. So, should I try to trade for John Gabriel Pajot sustainable? Nah, I wouldn't. I think the window has missed a bit anyway. He was stupid hot for a while there. He's slowed down a bit, hasn't he? Yeah, he slowed down. You don't need to worry about him. I would, if anything, even with Duclair's recent cool down, I would be trying to trade him for cheap, though. Why do you like? Because you make bad trades. Hey, Skafku 27? Skafku? Traded Hall, Perron, and Duclair for Dougie and Barkov. Great. I really like Perron. Duclair is like a super gamble. I love gambles, especially when it comes to volume shooters. But the idea of getting rid of Hall, whose ceiling just drastically dumped down, Perron, who's been great, honestly, and probably will continue to be great, and Duclair, who's like a who knows, for one of the best defensemen in the league right now, in Dougie Hamilton, and Alexander Barkov, one of the best centers. I love that trade. Thoughts on Dahlin rest of the season? I know there's the bus watching coming. I think Dahlin will figure it out. Buffalo actually just said they wanted to shoot more. What's interesting is that it looks like they put Ristolainen as like a player on the wall on Power Play 1. It doesn't really matter, but it was just something that I considered early before the season started. Like, if they're going to put both of them on Power Play 1, you would put Ristolainen in a position as like almost a forward to just blast slap shots that are getting passed in by Dahlin. And now it looks like we're going to be able to see maybe that happening. But I'm not, Dahlin's been kind of brutal lately, but I do think he's going to improve. Should I do the following? I get to bring Cat and I trade Konechny. Bangers Keeper League. No, I like Konechny. I think holding back Konechny for basically his entire career has been Power Play 1 and ice time. and he is now getting power play 1, and he's getting ice time. So I like him. I think he's very strong and probably one of the more underrated forwards. He's actually a pretty good trade target, but I feel like he's one of those guys that people that don't have him aren't thinking about him, and people that do have him are not going to trade him. So, yeah. Points only league. Who do you like rest of the season? Rantanen or Barkov? I think Barkov. But Rantanen's wing eligibility makes him interesting. So wings are, more shallow typically than centers. So if you need a winger, I think they're going to be pretty close. But I would give the edge to Barkov. Had a trade offer for my GM, McDavid for Carlson and Stamkos, Bangers League. I'd do it. McDavid is just, I would do it. I do like Carlson to rebound a bit. I don't think we're going to see him rebound the way he did last season. Stamkos, triple eligibility is nice. He's a little underrated coming to the season for some reason, but he's not McDavid. So is Palat a guy to hold on to, or is it better if I stream his slot? I just put him into drop candidates, actually, for the upcoming episode. He's not on a line. He may, when he comes back, be back on a line, but I don't think so. He's not on a line with anybody important, and he's off power play 1, so the odds of him keeping up any point production are very low. Should you pull the trigger, Big Burga? Did I miss your trade? I'm not sure. Remind me what your trade was. I didn't. I must have missed it. Oh, you're asking about that? Yeah, I would pull the trigger, take McDavid. Which two would you start tonight? Holtby versus New Jersey, Leonard versus Anaheim, or Bishop versus San Jose? Is Bishop playing? Why do I think that Bishop isn't playing? Am I just crazy? Am I crazy? Why am I so sure that it's going to be Khudobin tonight? It probably should be Bishop. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Okay, Bishop against San Jose. I like him a lot, so I'd probably play Bishop. So Holtby against the Devils or Leonard against Anaheim. Let's see. Leonard apparently has a 61% chance to win, according to Money Puck, which is kind of funny. Or Holtby. Okay. So if you're looking at Money Puck, the answer would be Holtby and Leonard. But I do like Bishop more, and I think because we're not just looking at wins, that Bishop's numbers will be better because he'll be able to stop a lot of shots. Holtby or Leonard? I think I'd run Holtby. I really don't. I get that Devils have been good lately, but I think I'd run Holtby. Is Trouba keeper worthy in a deep league with PIMs, hits, and blocks over defensemen who play power play 1, scored 40 to 50 points? It depends on who you're talking about, Webster. He's very hard to replace because of his, like you're mentioning, his really good peripheral deployment. So I think I would have Trouba over like a Krug in a league like that, or definitely over like a Klingberg. So yeah, he's definitely keeper worthy. It just depends on who you're comparing him against. Evening, gent. Points banger league. Would you rather start Myers at Buffalo or Falk versus the Rangers? Also, Brendan was wrong last week. I'm from Europe, not Australia. Oh, Gamby. Yeah. And it's Brandon. None of this Brendan business. Andon. Okay. Would you rather start Myers at Buffalo or Falk versus the Rangers? Well, I am starting Myers at Buffalo. And Falk is on the wire. So, got to run with the hot hand on that one. Dylan Larkin rest of the season. He started to pick it up, and surely the only way is up. Yeah. I still don't think I'm going to kind of view him as high as I did at the beginning of the season. But it does look like he's being a little bit more like himself. So I like him rest of the season. I think he's a good buy low. What are your thoughts on selling DeBrincat for Ryan Strome in a points league? Currently last playoff spot, risky gamble. I know. I wouldn't. I still don't buy Ryan Strome. I get it. Like, he's been really good. He's playing with Panarin, blah, 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 blah. But maybe it's just like personal bias, coming from being an Islanders fan, and him being there and then, getting moved out to Edmonton. And then I think I'd rather just have DeBrincat, even though I'm not super high on him. The podcast. Well, thank you for listening. It's okay. Everybody does, and by everybody I mean typically people that aren't from the States. I feel like my spelling of it is more popular here than it is elsewhere. But try and shop Hall for a defenseman, but not sure what his value is. Who do you think I could reasonably get? Depends on how people view him in your league. I think that Hall still has. People still remember his Hart season. So I think you might still be able to get something pretty good for him. You could even try to buy low on a guy like Erik Karlsson, maybe. Or even Burns. Burns is slow for long enough that his season stats don't look super good. I would start there with one of the Sharks' elite defensemen, and then if you don't get them, move around to anybody else. Go down the list, essentially, of other very good defensemen, I think. I would basically shoot high. Long live Alex Edler, yes. Khudobin is an underrated beast. I don't know if it's that so much, or if it's just that Dallas is ridiculous with the on defense. Like, you could put just about anybody behind him; they'd be pretty good. Good morning, Kyle. Islanders fan too. The fish sticks run deep in my blood. Yes, the old Gordon jersey. I think I was there that night when they gave away the fish stick shirts. Out to 5 games next week. Yeah. Pickup suggestions, it depends on if you can get all 5 starts. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter as much. But Brock Nelson is always going to be a guy that's worth considering. I think he's 50-something% owned though. I think Eberle is probably worth a look. Beauvillier is probably worth a look. It looks like he's lining up top line now and top power play. Beauvillier could be a pretty good option coming into next week. There's not a lot though. There's not a lot of interesting stuff going on in the Islanders. It's Nelson, Beauvillier, and I would probably say Nelson number 1, then Beauvillier, then Eberle, and then after that, it just kind of falls off a cliff. You could potentially stream Devin Tays in a points only league or something. Please turn the volume up. Is it too low? Okay, hang on. That should be a bit louder. Probably could just be closer to the mic too, but I don't want to pick up too much background noise. That's the thing. It should be better. Got really strong goaltending. I've used 48 games. I'm in first goalie points by 50. Would you move a guy like Bob if I can get picks for him? I'm pushing for money. I have Hart, Samsonov, Shesterkin, and Bob. What's the... Didn't you say there's 82 games for your goaltending? If I move Bob and grab a guy like Dell, just play the waiver wire to stream. I don't think it's a bad option. If you're already way in first, then you could chance it. But if you think you might win this season, I don't know that I would risk it. I might just use Bob if he's going to be good. So we're at the bottom, 12:30. I should probably look into my 197. But how many starts does second place have? I should probably look into my own teams and make sure that I am ready to go for tonight, because more than once I've done this and forgotten and then went ahead and not sent my own lines like a dumb butthole. I'm playing Prokhorkin tonight in my Dynasty League. You can take a look. Stenlund, these minor league grabs that I can move in and out of my minors. Thought about playing Kyrou, but I don't know. I don't know about playing Kyrou tonight. I think I prefer Stenlund. Although it's kind of tit for tat, but he's been shooting more. This building winners, it's coming back. It's coming back. My boy. Kind of blew it last night, but whatever. Just got offered Taze in a 5th in 2021 or Raquel in a 5th for 2021. Jonathan Taves or Devon Taves? And for who? Bob? I don't think I would do that. I wouldn't trade for either one of them. Not for that. Bangers League question. Got Larkin, gave Wade to know. Do I win long term? Yes, you do. For sure. Larkin's ceiling is so much higher than Deneau's. Jonathan Taze. Quinn Hughes. Are they offering for Bob or what's happening? I don't love Jones. I think I like Quinn Hughes more than Jones, but Jones does have the peripherals, and I would definitely carry over Samsonov. I don't think I would. I don't know that I would actually trade. I would probably decide after the season. Somebody could still slow down. These guys are so young. Lean towards Benting, Timo, and playing Reinhardt. Thoughts? Oh, wait. Skipped one. Would you still shop Paul in a keeper where you still have potentially 6 years of control of him? Fifth round pick to keep next year, increases each subsequent season. Oh, I see. If you traded him, would whoever you trade him to be able to keep him for a 5th also, or how does the trade work? I guess it depends on the value they're trading away, because you could use that as part of your sell, right? You could say you get to keep Hall as a 5th, and I want more. So if you can trade him with that value intact, I would still be shopping him. Otherwise, he's probably worth a 5th in a banger league. So I'd probably keep him. Lean towards benching Timo and playing Reinhardt. Thought points only. In a points only league, yeah, I think I would do that. No, I'm leaving this up. I'm going to do that. Is IFL sustainable? Let's see. Too early to start making trades for players with good playoff week schedules. It's about time to start thinking about it. I feel like All-Star break is right after All-Star break is when I start actually making these trades. Unless you have an earlier trade deadline. It's time to start thinking about it. But honestly, like I looked at the playoffs, there's a few, but there's no like crazy good teams to own for the entire playoff schedule like they have been. I think you're probably going to be better off like to take advantage of like maximizing starts. I think you should do it more with streamers than with trying to do it with actually the good players. I think if you trust your players, you just keep them and you use your streamers to make up kind of the gaps. So you can look at it, but I wouldn't try to move Earth, to get it done. IFL is sustainable. I don't know. I really don't know if IFL is sustainable. I wish I could tell you because I've been thinking the same thing myself. I still do on the Kings. I still do like Toffoli more than IFL as long as he's playing top with him. IFL being moved to power play 1 is nice, but he's been playing line 1 for a long time and has never really gotten anything done. So it's interesting that he finally is. The fact that he's power play 1 is good news, but I'm not sure he stays there. Oh, it's not a bangers league. Yeah, so then Quinn is definitely, like, Seth Jones isn't worth much in that league then. Dumb's been hurting my heart, been holding a bench spot, hopes he finds himself, but at this point I'm leaning towards dropping him for nothing. I still have Dumb in a couple of leagues, but mostly because of his peripherals. His peripherals are pretty good. It's actually enough to keep him, like, buoy him a bit in my league, but I wouldn't mind moving him if there was good options on the wire. Keeper value fall as player. So yes, you keep him. Yeah, then I would still be shopping Hall and using that to be like, I'm giving you a deal type thing. Even though I think Hall next season, assuming that things don't change in Arizona, he's probably gonna be about a 5th round pick anyway. I shopped Hall in a keep 5 and ended up moving. But Brandon hates my trades. I do. Tell him what your trade was. Yeah. In a non-banger keeper, who do you value higher, Hall or Sagan? Sagan. Do you think they'll be similar in future seasons? No, I think Sagan's going to be better because again, Arizona's system is just not going to be beneficial to any forward, really. I own both. Plan to do Hall as a 2-year keeper and Sagan at 4. Yeah, I would keep Sagan longer. Still high on Duke rest of the season. Last 3 games, I'm a little worried. The ice time is what worries me. I'm still high on him. I'm actually trying to acquire him in the Dynasty League, which is not really working. But I want to. I don't know. If he's not going to get ice time, then he's not going to be able to do much. I don't know if this ankle shot block that he did is still bothering him or what the deal is, but I want to assume that he'll be better. If I do Sagan at 4, I'll have Draisaitl, Meyer and Draisaitl at 3, and Hall at 2. No expiring guys, just due to trades. I picked up existing contracts, so I have to top up. Okay. And if I have somebody I want to sign next season, I can try to make room for them because I won't have an expiring guy for next season, so I want to sign Hughes or whoever, but too soon. Or Samsonov. Not sure carrying over, but yeah. The trade where I got Sagan for Burns, and I flipped Hall and Hornquist in 11th for Trouba, JT Miller in 8th. It's all right. I don't know. Sagan replaces Burns as a keeper for me now, and I'm in first, so shoring up periffs. Is it true that Hall has 70-75 upside in current situation? Upside. Yeah, I think more realistically 70s kind of like the point I'm looking at, maybe even a little south. 89 if he goes to, yeah, if I would love for Hall to get moved again, which is that is plausible actually in a keeper league. I'm not really thinking too much about the keeper aspect, but he hasn't signed a contract. I'm not entirely sure that he would. If he doesn't sign a contract, you got to assume he's going to take a deal with a contending team at some point because he's been playing with teams that have no cup shot for his entire career. You have to assume he wants to do something else. Who'd be a good player to target for Hall? Cats leagues with hits, blocks, face-off wins, and PIMs. Landeskog? Winger eligible, gets face-off wins, hits, and PIMs. I go after Landeskog. Plus, he's been kind of slow lately. Well, not lately, but over the season. And all as much as so, he's still only a player, not a high shooting percentage guy. Right, he's not, but his ice time has been dipping since he joined Arizona, and he's not. They just don't play a style that's going to let him play the way he used to. Do you know website does customized player rankings? Yahoo seems to take plus minus too much into account. Example, Larkin is 188 in the league plus minus rank. Yeah. Gamby can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you could probably use the draft kit that we built and just tinker with the values, call it a points league, like treat it as a points league and tinker with the value of plus minus until it is how you like it. If you go to fantasyhockeypodcast.com/tools and you look at the draft tool, you should be able to put your team in and kind of play around with the settings a little bit. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can pop my in-season up. Yeah, but Hall, that was the first time he's played 20 minutes in like a while. And in Jersey, he's playing 20 minutes pretty often, if I remember right. We can take a look at this, actually. Yeah. It makes sense that Keller falls off a bit, unfortunately. Wait for my tool to load. Which two would you sit? Weber, Provorov, Quinn Hughes, Nurse, D'Angelo. Goals just depends on what you need. Like, we're so far into the week that you know what you're behind in. So that's going to determine things. I would probably bench Hughes unless you need points because he doesn't really give you a whole lot else. Weber I would play almost certainly. I feel like Provorov would be my other one unless you need PIMs or something, and then you could play Nurse. D'Angelo, I don't know. I know they had this huge game. Maybe he's got some swagger coming off that, but it also depends on what you need from a cat standpoint. Do you have deeper stats on Sagan? Why his point pace is slower than last year? I know Dallas plays a slow pace, but he's by far the best fantasy analyst on Dallas. Shooting time, his shooting percentage is still low. I haven't looked into him too much recently, but earlier in the season, the constant shift on the wing was not helping things. He's still kind of doing his thing. Let's take a look if there's anything that stands out. Power play. Power play is the big thing. Played 70% of the time on power play last season, and now they're doing the 50-50. That's going to hurt him. Yeah. Last season he had 27 power play points. This season he's going to be like 17. That's the difference. It's power play. It's literally the power play is the difference in his point pace from the season and his point pace from last season. Pretty much. And some change, but it's mostly that. Yeah. I mean, his shooting percentage is low too. 7% is low, so he is due for some more points, but it's the power play. It's the easy thing to point out. All right, at the bottom again. We got 15 minutes before the first game starts. Yeah, I know that Ben is kind of like a persona non grata now, but he does still fill the categories pretty well. Who picked up Cahoon? There's a guy in our most competitive league that I really badly want to not make the playoffs this season, but it looks like he's going to make it, which makes me very sad. Very sad. Still such style in the end of the day. Yeah. No, I don't know why they're doing a 50-50. They don't have a team that's built to do 50-50. And, I mean, you look at the successful teams on the power play. It's not rocket science to see what they're doing. They're putting all their best players out there for as long as they can. It's the why am I blanking on the new Toronto coach? For some reason I'm blanking on the new Toronto coach name, but his whole thing was playing his best players as many minutes as he can on the power play. Sheldon Keefe. Yeah. So that's the right approach. It's clearly the right approach. Chris Trieger. Whee! Ooh, a keeper pool since before 2010. How many guys have you had cycle out? How many teams have you had to replace? Well, I don't know why I'm gonna make playoffs. He he's just annoying. He complains about anytime something doesn't go his way, whether it's a trade in the league or a new setting or something. If he can point to something as a reason he didn't win a week or whatever, he just complains. And he acts very aloof, even though he knows what he's doing, which I hate that. He'll like make a very clearly won trade and kind of present it as like, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know who this is, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay. Wow, only 3. In our Dynasty League, we've already lost 3 or 4. And that only started last season. Hey, Brandon, Rax in a head-to-head points league. Your thoughts to hang on to him for a while or use his spot as a streamer? Thinking of picking up Toffoli for today. How many teams, Daryl? Rax always has that bit of a bonus because he plays on Anaheim and they get a lot of off nights. So that leads me to think that I'd like to keep him. But his value is diminishing. Keeping's going on since 2008. Man, that's pretty good. Two new members. Wow, that's insane. I mean, that's crazy. You must have really people that are really into it and can deal with being at the bottom a lot. I feel like unless everybody's like even, that you wind up seeing the same players at the bottom of the standings every season. I don't know why they come back. I'm even confused in my own league. I'm to the point that I'm starting to think about just booting out the players that aren't as good. Love to get in a league with us one, guys. Well, we do the listener leagues for patrons and YouTube members coming into next season. I kind of liked how they're working this season, but we're gonna change them a little bit. They're weekly lock leagues, which I think they still will be, but next season they're gonna be in like a pyramid, like a tier, so that if you play the couple, it'll be kind of like that, where you kind of win your way up to play against Gamby and I, because we're in too many leagues right now. It's too hard to keep up. We played in every single listener league this season. There's like 6 of them, plus all the ones we already play in. It's difficult to manage them all and have a life. Theodore was available in your league? That's crazy. The teams in the league are perpetually bad. Try to fire up head-to-head points type league next year. Oh, is it a roto? Yeah, it's a roto, right? That explains with the start max. I haven't played in a roto league in forever. Yeah, I like bangers leagues. Like points leagues and roto are fine, but there's just more nuance to cats leagues. You have to know more about the league. You can't just know who's getting goals. But that does make the barrier of entry higher. Next year it'll probably be tiered. I don't know. There's a chance that it won't be if we don't get a ton more people involved in in the league. But I do believe my wife just broke something in the bedroom, and now she's vacuuming it. I wonder what that was. 14-team keeper Fantrax, yeah. Fantrax is hard to beat if you want to get the all the customization. Okay. We make everyone drop their top score with helps and some parity. Yeah, I can see that. Dynasty leagues, like I can see why the people in our Dynasty league, if you start the Dynasty league, you're already at the bottom. Like, that's tough. It's why, like, you're going to be years out before you can compete. It's hard. Also, like, in Dynasty leagues, I think we need to change the rules again in our league because the idea of tanking is just too valuable. So, okay. What's your opinion on goalies like Hart and Demko going forward? All the good goalies are being kept in my 16-team league, so I'm looking for a less established guy to grab. Hart. Demko, I'm not sold on yet. I think he's a good goalie, but I actually think the odds of Vancouver re-signing Mark Sherm are getting higher and higher. And Hart is the guy. So I would take Hart. And Philly is actually, despite kind of being up and down this season, they are a very solid team, especially for a goalie. They defend him pretty well. 4 keepers plus rookie carryover. Oh yeah, right. How do you find married life and being a fantasy guru? It can be difficult. For the most part, it's fine though. We carve out time. I just need to keep her ahead of the schedule so that she knows that like I need to be doing whatever it is I'm doing right now. It's days like this are kind of tough though because we got to do this and then record an episode, and I probably need to record a 101 soon. I haven't kind of updated that series in a while. So time is hard because anytime that I'm doing this, I'm essentially saying you need to babysit, whether you want to or not. But we do a good enough job, I think, of like kind of balancing that. Like if she wants to go do something, then I'll be, the guy for a while. Yeah. How does the All-Star Week become a 2-week? Does the All-Star Week become a 2-week matchup in Yahoo leagues? I think it does, Neil. Pretty sure it does. What is the strategy for Roto League so far? The season seems completely random. Who's in first at any given moment? It kind of depends on the settings of the league, but for the most part, just having the best players and avoiding injury. That's one thing I don't like about Roto Leagues is like an injured. You can't in a head-to-head league, especially in a head-to-head Cats league, if like your best players get hurt, you can still find a way. you can still target weaknesses in your opponents to like kind of win the week anyway. Like if they're not very good at blocks, you can try to get them in blocks even though your best players are gone. In Roto, if you lose guys to injuries, you're just kind of screwed. But yeah, the strategy for Roto leagues is being able to react quickly to the right players and draft well. Draft matters a lot in a Roto league. We just drafted at the very beginning, haven't reset ever. The non-interested type teams start posting questions of reset, never getting traction. Yeah. Tank. I mean, there's a good thing about, even if you're not tanking this coming off season, the draft is so deep that you can be pretty good even with like a 10th or 12th overall. Given my league is a keep 4 plus rookie carryover an option to carry over Samsonov and Quinn, which round would you target Hart in next year? He's going to be available. You said that goalies are fairly valuable kind of early on. Maybe like 7th round. Oh, keep 4, so 3rd round. Only 2 leagues this year, winning both. Need more challenge next year. I'm in 10 leagues. I don't know what I'm doing with the listener leagues as far as winning. I'll take a quick look just for funsies. I am in 2nd in one of them, 1st in another one. I'm in 1st in 2 of them, 2nd in 1. 2nd in 2 of them. Okay, so I'm in 6 listener leagues, 2 first, 2 second, a 6th, and an 11th, because my team in one of these leagues just has been cursed. I currently have 5 injured players on that team. It's just insane. And that's like with me dropping my injured players for other players, and then they get hurt. I can't win in that one. And then my regular leagues, Gamby and I have 2 shared leagues, the Cupful and this Fantasy Hockey Invitational on Twitter. I think we're 1st in both right now. We're definitely 1st in the Cupful. I guess we're technically 2nd. We're technically 2nd in the Invitational, but if this week ends the way it is right now, we'll be in 1st. And then in my Dynasty League, I'm in 1st. And in my competitive league, I'm in 1st. So 6 firsts out of 10 leagues. 6 firsts and 2 seconds out of 10 leagues. And the only ones that I'm not in 1st in are leagues where they're weekly lock and injuries just kill you. Oh yeah, please hit like. Also, if you guys are around and you listen to the podcast, which I assume you do, please consider reviewing us on and wherever you listen to us, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, anything, or just leave a rating or something. Those ratings really, really help us move up the ranks, both on the charts and on the search. So if you haven't done that, that's like the easiest way to support the podcast more than anything. Like if we had to choose between you being a patron for a year or you being or a YouTube member or whatever, or you writing a review with a 5-star rating, we'd pick a rating. That's kind of how it is. We'd pick both, but we'd pick a rating if we had to choose. Okay, let's see. What have I won't be able to sign Hart in my league aside from Bennington or Hart would carry with the Orion goalkeepers past year. I see. These 4 dominant for your rookie D carried over. Hart dropped in the season. Holland first, too much for Hart in a 16-team league. Trade would be to keep Hart long term. For a first, that does seem like too much. It does seem like too much. How much? How many keepers? You may have already told me, but I forgot. In a points-only league and a head-to-head Cats league, need more. Yeah. If I have to drop Hedman and Hart, I think I have a shot to get them back. First 2 round picks. I pick in round 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7 at the moment. If I have to drop Hedman and Hart, I think I have a good chance. Yeah, seems like you would. Good morning, Shanae. Can't believe you managed all multiple leagues like that. Gives me anxiety. Gives me anxiety too. And I have forgotten to set my lines a few times. I think Gammy's in 14 leagues, I think. There's a decent chance that next season our listener leagues will be like best balls or something, which are like automated for you essentially. It's just a draft. I want to be able to do a best ball with some minor roster changes though, which I think you can do on Fantrax. So maybe we'll do that. Dean goalies fickle for sure. You never know from season to season. We're throwing them back in the draft pool. Makes sense. Can you rank on Spotify? Yeah, well, Gammy answered that. Well, thanks for that. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that that you rank on Canada, that we rank on Spotify Canada. Spotify seems pretty popular as a podcast destination or whatever on Canada. By the way, if you guys haven't joined the Discord, I'm just going to drop a link real quick. I really do think that this is the best place on the planet to talk fantasy hockey right now. There's just literally constantly people talking in here about whatever, everything. So that's weird. Why is this hidden? Oh, it's because it's stream mode. Here you go. There you go. If you want to join that. So we've got how many? I think we have 1,400 people in here now. I want to say 1,400. 1,399. So there you go. Let's see. 16 team looking to pick up Krejci. Oh, looking to drop Krejci. I was going to say, really? Top guys on the waiver are Henrique, Backlund, Faxa, Hyman, Suzuki, Beauvillier. I like Beauvillier short term. I mentioned already because he's got 5 games next week. 5 games next week, and playing with Barzal on top line, top power play. So he's probably my short term pick there. Backlund, I also kind of like, not quite as much as some of the others. Suzuki's another interesting one. I've said my piece on Hyman. I don't think he's kind of the guy really. Henrique is all right, but he's so like hit or miss. And then Faxa like doesn't really. I don't think he's gonna keep up anything he's doing. How's the team look? Backstrom, Horvat, Draisaitl, Hall, Meyer, Sagan, Hedman, Quinn Hughes, Dubois, Bob. Looks good to me. Should I start Vasi down against the Flyers in a point-only league? Win is 5 points. Goal against is -1. Yeah, I would. Guards the Hall and Hartford first. It's a 4 keeper, and I'm likely rebuilding next season, so I can live with losing my first. Even if you're rebuilding, you'd want your first in case whoever you pick with your first becomes a player you're going to want to keep after that. So I think I still wouldn't trade first. I feel like Hall for Hart should be enough. I know it's a 16 team or a 16 keeper, but like you're keeping Hart. I don't know. I feel like Hall should be enough. Or Hall in like a mid to late pick. I would do Hall in first. All right. Bench, Reinhart, Jones, Hart, Shesterkin, rookie slot, Samsonov. After Samsonov. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Sent you in game your friend request on Discord. I don't usually pick up. Hey, Terry Guest, thank you. Welcome to Multicat Monster. We should probably change that so it makes some sense. You got the green name and the badge, cat badge. Love it. I don't really accept friend requests typically on Discord, just because like if I started to, then I would just get tons of them. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I will start accepting them because what difference does it make? I don't even know, honestly. Like I've been on Discord for a while. I have no idea what a friend does other than you wind up having them like on your list of friends, which I have very few. Turns out. Yeah, I guess if you resend it, I'll accept whatever. Who cares? Tied for 4th in the league, top 4, get money. Nice. I like Krejci short term, at least early in the week. Do you? Does he have? Honestly, I haven't had time to look at the schedule yet for next week. I know that there's that the Islanders have. What time is it? Ooh, it's after 1. So I'm going to be leaving soon. If you have any last minute questions, I don't know, Krejci. Krejci. I don't know what Krejci. Holtby, Jari, Jerry, whatever people keep telling us different things. Varlamov, which 2 should I trade for the rest of the season? Trade for or trade away? At this point, I'm thinking more and more that the worst that's going to come out for Jerry is going to wind up in a timeshare. So kind of like Jerry and Varlamov to hold. Holtby, jeez, they're all pretty decent, but I think Jerry and Varlamov, you might give up some wins by volume, especially with Varlamov, but your numbers should be really good. Traded Keller, Besser, and Trocheck for Hall, Dubois, and Nylander, then trade Nylander and a fifth for Sagan in a third. Great, they both look good. See, Besser's Mr. Consistent, but his goals have dropped this year. Has to do with shot types. People talking about his wrist. Yeah, I do like Besser. Yeah, and I'm sure we did like it at the time if it involved Hall. It's worth more than $5 a month, but I'll give you that for now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Highly appreciated. Don't worry. I think a lot of people in this server, it's their first time in Discord, which is fine. By the way, patrons and YouTube members get kind of extra channels that we're a little bit more active in Discord, and get sort of like priority responses. So if you want to ask us a bunch of questions, that's the way to do it. How's dad life treating you? Victor, my son, is 4.5 months old. It's been pretty good. We're lucky enough that he sleeps well. You know, he's healthy, and yeah, I really can't complain. He's everything. He's as good as a baby as a baby could be, I would say. So pretty happy about it. Central from Keller, Besser as keepers to Hall, Sagan, moved around some other parts. So I'm a bit older, but 27, 28 years, so high into the production left. Yeah, I think people get a little bit too freaked out by age. But unless somebody's like past they're like 33, that's the only time I really start being like, I will have to figure out a response to this pretty soon. Go Canucks. There's a lot of Vancouver fans. You guys, very loud Vancouver fans, I will say. Good afternoon, Carrie. Sorry not to start a question about the top of your head. Name 3 New York Islanders to target in a trade for next week. You want to trade for them? I mean, the best one to have is still Barzal. There's kind of the only one that I think is a long-term ad. Pulock is the other one that could be, because in bangers leagues, because he's got, you know, he does pretty good with blocks and hits and whatnot, but he's still not got a ton of value, unfortunately. 3 players that I think are acquirable for cheap, besides Barzal, who I think probably is also acquirable for cheap, are Nelson, Beauvillier, and Eberle. Actually, Lee. I would have Lee over Eberle. So I'd probably have Nelson first, then Lee. Yeah, then Beauvillier, I think. Yeah. Holtby's mediocre for 3rd season in a row. I insist on bringing him back. I'm going back to him. Samsonov isn't proven, but he's clearly the better goalie. I have Draisaitl, Meyer, when he's going in the next year, so I have good youth on my team. Yeah. Because they're probably going to, well, they're not going to trade him, are they? Because he's going to be UFA, and they're going to hang on to him for the rest of the season. You know, I don't know that I have the answer to that. They definitely want to keep him ready because he's going to likely have a lot of time in the playoffs to play. I don't think they're going to play Samsonov the whole time. Too risky. $2 Canadian. Thank you so much, Rogerson. Can I make a joke about Canadian money? Nah, I'll just leave it. What is that worth? Like 50 cents? I did it. That's so rude of me. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Rogerson. Okay. You have 16-month-old twin boys. If you're blessed as well, they both sleep all night. That's awesome. Yeah, we're lucky with that too. Ours sleeps from 7:30 until about 5, and you wake up for a feed and go back to bed until about 7 or so. So, pretty good. He is cute. He's sleeping right now. He's been sleeping this whole thing, I think. My wife's got him in the bedroom. Friend from Vancouver Island. Cool. About as far as you can be from where I grew up in Florida. Okay. Marchand, Kane, Wheeler, lots of guys producing that are 31, 33. I don't like to compare them to generational players like Malkin, Crosby, Ovi that produce at 30. Oh, Kane. Yeah, right. I was thinking of Vander Kane. I was like, he's younger. But yeah. Went the younger route, I guess, last season. But for this this season and finished 8th and 9th. I'm in the money, as I mentioned. Yeah. It's Hall worth a trade in future keepers, depending on which team he goes to. It depends which team he goes to, but I think if he does not re-sign with Arizona, his value is going to go up quite a bit. I'd only trade for him if you can get him cheap, like really cheap, or you think you're going to lose anyway and you just want to gamble. You should do well being competitive, having extra picks, different deals. Yeah, it's easy. Bo and Lee are FA for me. Excellent. Who else would you be trading for? I feel like Barzal and maybe Pollock are the only ones that are even held. Maybe, I guess, Everly. But yeah, Beauvillier and Lee. I'm going to be looking at Beauvillier in a couple of my leagues. Because Lee is... Yeah, I might even like Beauvillier more than Lee. I don't know. Like Holtby didn't play great last game. Samsonov did. Now they're talking Holtby today. Yeah. I guess they're worried about... I don't know what they're worried about. They could give Samsonov a few starts in a row, but maybe they will. It looks like Monopoly money. I was going to go with the Monopoly money route, but I just didn't. Thought about it. 12-2. Yeah, Samsonov's been great. It's fellow Canadian. I'm hurt by dollar jokes. Sorry. I was born there, so I think I'm allowed to kind of make fun of it. And I remember when Canadian money was even and maybe even slightly worth more than the US dollar, and it was weird. Not sure if you talked about it yet, but Connor Murphy is worth looking at hits and blocks leagues. We have talked about him, and he definitely is. Not only is he worth a look, he should be added in most leagues. I unfortunately missed out on him. I lost a free agent acquisition bid by tiebreak. But yeah, I did add Dennis Gilbert as a minor, so I could kind of stream him in. But Murphy's the winner there, especially with the injuries to the season-ending injuries to DeHaan and to Seabrook. So yeah, Holtby's been pretty mediocre this season. But good wins because team scores not online. Yeah. Wait, so what do you guys prefer us to become members on YouTube or Patreon? Yeah, like Gamey says, it doesn't really matter. I think that you know what? You didn't tell me what YouTube breaks. I don't know if they take a higher percentage than Patreon. I don't think it does. I don't think they do. So it doesn't really matter. You get the YouTube badge for being a YouTube member, so maybe that is a little bit of a push to that direction. In addition to reviews. Yeah. Thanks for even considering it, though. Yeah. In a keep 2, or you're in 2 different keeper leagues. Keep 2 or 2 keeper leagues. With goal assist, blah 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 blah. Would you rather have? Okay, yeah, it is keep 2, or push for getting Kucherov in a trade. I would push to get Kucherov in a trade, and then keep Kucherov and Sagan or something. If the keeps are that few, that few amount of keeps, I would probably try to get the absolute best players I can to keep, rather than because you know getting 2 very good keepers doesn't seem that bad. I'm gonna try to target Barzal with Kadri, Dahlin, or something. McConnell's has a great schedule. I don't know that I'd move Dahlin for Barzal, but also during playoff weeks. Yeah, I think you could probably get Barzal for cheaper than Kadri and Dahlin. Maybe Kadri and somebody else. You were born in Canada. When did you move to the States? Why? Well, I didn't have a choice. I moved when I was 5. My parents moved for an opportunity in Florida. So, let's see. This is Martin Jones 2.0. He's not nearly as bad as Martin Jones. But yeah. How long have you played fantasy hockey and how many championships have you won? I've been playing... You know, I didn't really get into hockey until I moved to New York, which was in 2008. Probably started playing fantasy hockey 2 years after that. So I've been playing for maybe close to a decade now. And I've never missed playoffs. Except for this year, I'm going to miss playoffs. This is going to be the first year I've ever missed playoffs. I'm going to miss it in one of the listener leagues, the one I was mentioning how my guys are just always hurt somehow. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do about that one, unfortunately. But I'll make playoffs in probably the other 9 leagues that I'm in. And I've won most maybe about 50%, roughly. Um, there's a few times when I should not have won and I did win, and there's a few times when I should have won and I did not, which happened last year in the league that I'm in with Gamby. Actually, I'm in 2 leagues with Gamby where we're on opposite teams. In the most competitive league that I say with some really good players, I beat him with a team I should not have won with, and then in my dynasty league, I lost to a team that I should not have lost to. Because in playoffs, the Lightning went completely berserk, and my opponent had Lightning players, a lot of them. So that was it. What's your level in rating? I played on ESPN for a while. I played on Fantrax for a bit. I didn't have a lot of volume on Yahoo until this season, but I think I'm like high 800s. I feel like there's probably a pretty good chance I'll be diamond by the end of the year, but I don't know. I don't put a lot of value into the Yahoo ratings really. They have so much to do with volume. So if I were to play three leagues on Yahoo every single season, I'm sure I'd be well into the diamond by now. But it's trending. I'm at 870 right now. So, but the thing is, I've also put together Yahoo leagues that were like totally testers. I was just running a draft and leaving it, and I got like last or whatever in like a league against a bunch of bots. So. Well, I just explained it all. But yeah, I didn't even think about that people cared about the ratings. So until this season, I didn't even notice them. I would run tester leagues and stuff like that I was using. Like I would make leagues that had every single category available, and just like fill them with like whatever accounts, random accounts, so that I could use them for research before we built the tool and before I was using natural stat trick and stuff like that. So that certainly has not helped. Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea, Shanae. Do like a one-on-one about that. The deal with playoffs, as we're kind of talking to Gamby, he's kind of mentioning the last what happened last playoffs. It's still volume wins. Volume always wins, but as the playoffs progress, even dropping very good players for streamers becomes like super viable. That's what I did, Gamby. I knew that I had a couple. I don't remember who exactly I dropped, but I had a couple players that only had like 2 or 3 games, and I could move them for guys that had 4 or 5. And even if it's like a Malkin, you'd do that just because getting 4 games from a 50-point player is going to be worth more than 2 games from a point per game player. Like even from a point, like they'll get more points most likely. Just the simple math there, they'll get more points, but they'll dominate in peripherals. So for Cats leagues, numbers are king. Yeah, I think I've had my very first way back on ESPN. Sadly, my very first fantasy hockey league, I had a dominating team that was like first in like every category in a Cats league, and I lost because of Johan Franzen and them repeatedly saying that they were gonna activate him, and they never did. So he ate a roster spot for the entire playoffs that I was waiting on. This is when I didn't know what I was doing. These days, it doesn't matter who it was. If they're going to be eating a roster spot, I would have just dropped him, and then I would have won the week. And then I probably would have won the whole thing. But it's what it is. Your rating, if you go to my team on any team, it'll show you your rating. I wonder if not being diamond is going to make us lose clout. You know who's a really high diamond is Elon of Keeping Karlsson, which probably isn't too surprising. But yeah, it's so volume heavy. If you just play a lot and you do like reasonably well, your rating will be pretty high. You don't even have to win like all the leagues or anything. But all right, it's 1:20. I have to go because we also. Oh wait, okay. Yeah, definitely volume. Not sure if you'll get to my last question. I will, I guess, very quickly. How did you and Gamby meet? Were you two active in the fantasy hockey community together, trolling each other before befriending each other? We met from work. So we both worked at a daily fantasy sports company called Draft, which actually product just shut down, like this last end of NFL season. We met there. There was actually a handful of hockey fans at this very small company. I think Gamby was like the 9th person to start working there total. And we just became friends. We started talking about how we play fantasy hockey all the time. And then we looked around the space essentially and saw there wasn't there was Keeping Karlsson, of course. They'd been around forever. But there really wasn't a lot of other podcasts going on. There wasn't any that were doing more than once a week. So that's why we started the podcast. And then, we've just been friends ever since. He's a good yin to my yang, I guess. I think Gamby gets more excited, and I'm like very pessimistic almost all the time, except for like Duclair for some reason. But points league ESPN, should I hold Olofsson? I should make the playoffs. Yes, hold Olofsson. Yep. Okay, guys, that's gonna take care of it. I have to go as it is. As it is late, so and then I'm gonna have to record the week preview coming up here soon. Anyway, so we're not even in a fantasy hockey job. I would never call it the podcast. Well, I might if somehow this became something that we could do for a long time, but or actually make significant money from, which I doubt we ever will. So this is just a hobby. But fantasy sports, getting a fantasy sports job isn't that bad. Just apply to DraftKings or FanDuel, I guess, or start your own. But okay, that'll wrap it up. I must go. So thanks everybody for coming out. Not a whole lot of sit-start stuff, really, but that's not too surprising. There wasn't a ton of games today, and it was a fun chat anyway. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Later.